Reggie Langhorne started here on All Bets Are Off last week, but I couldn't be accommodating to my man. I was playing in a charity golf outing, and even for my man Reggie, we go back decades together. Yes, I'm not going to give up a great round of golf to be with my old pal. How are you, Reg?
I would have hit the golf ball too. It's just me.
It's great to have you. You're going to be featured every week here on All Bets Are Off on Mondays throughout the season. I know it pains you what you are watching, as well as the fans and all of us too.
You know, I guess the thing that gets me is being an athlete and have played in the city for the years that I did, and I've been doing television or, you know, talking to the press for years. It hurts an athlete to have to speak so harshly of his organization and of his team, other players on this organization. But what took place yesterday is what we've seen continuously for the last 4, 5, 6, 7 years. Yeah, they give us a spurt, they give us a taste, but yet they never finish what they're set out to do. We thought after the first game, okay, horrible. The second game, maybe we got a little something going. Then we fall right back in the suit. And then, you know, I look at the receivers. I don't understand Mr. Little. I mean, I can't figure out why this guy. Now, you know, if you're
Get the camera on me here. Hunger Games. Have you seen Hunger Games?
Right.
Have you seen Hunger Games with Jennifer Lawrence? Right. She's got her bow and arrow. That's what it was. Hunger Games.
Isn't that when you're up by 4 or 5 and you're in your last drive with 3 minutes to go, you get a first down to clinch the game? Not when you're down by 10 and you danced last week. I said, come on. First of all, son, it means to receive, catch the ball.
Yeah.
And then all the other stuff will come to you. But we got to do better.
I said, Reg, when he said last week that he couldn't care less about the fans, I said, wow, man, that's really teetering. If you are a great receiver, if you are consistent, if you are doing that's fine. You can get away with that. You can get away with the posing and all that nonsense. But if you have the dropsies and then you still do this and that, it's going to come back to haunt him.
It's going to build blocks. It's going to build blocks that every time he puts one on the ground and then it gets in his head. The bottom line, he should do nothing but focus on catching the football. Don't worry about the run after the catch. Basically catch it and then we'll see what happens after that. But he's not focused on it. His stripe of his helmet is always going forward to see what's ahead of him. Not saying, okay, let's just catch this football and then we'll figure the rest out as we go. Not being a good guy.
He's a big man too. You would think that he wouldn't be gun shy.
Well, you know, gun shy or just poor mechanics. Just hand-eye coordination. You talk about Brian Brennan, who folks used to say he had soft hands. Well, Brian had great eyes. A receiver catches the ball with his hands, but his eyes are really what he catches it with. It's the last 6 inches. You'll see a lot of guys take their eyes off the football when they think they got it, they're ready to turn and run.
Right.
It's how long you can control it. Look at Larry Fitzgerald. Typical. Every time he catches the football, his stripe of his helmet is on the ball. That means his eyes are on the ball. Our guys are not good at it. So I always go back to coaching, to scouting, to all those small things. Because right now, when you have a young team, as we do, you got to have somebody fundamentally sound to teach kids fundamentals, because we got a lot of young kids, and if they don't get it from a guy like Little, who's now a veteran on his team, where are you going to get it?
How good are these young kids, though? We hear so much about the 15 rookies, the second-year players, the third-year players. Our average age is 25 years old. Reggie Langhorne is a perfect example of wise drafting, great scouting. Do you know that this guy, this former great receiver of the Browns, was a 7th-round draft choice? How good are these rookies, second-year and third-year players that we have drafted?
You know, they're being tossed into the heat. You know, now Massaquoi is out. So you've got, I think, Benjamin, and you've got, who's the other young kid's name? Gordon coming in. Now, they played at big schools. See, I always thought when guys came from the Baylors, the USCs, the UCLAs, the Miamis, should be able to walk right into it and play ball. Not so much. And these guys look like they're gun shy. They're not sure of what they're doing. So they got to get back to the drawing board. But now they're faced with Massaquoi being hurt, and they're going to be on the field more, and it doesn't help Wheaton out a bit. Rookie quarterback, rookie running back, rookie wide receivers, and you get to walk into the mouth of the beast, Baltimore and New York.
Well, that
the
leads
perfect
me
storm.
Reg, that leads me to my next question. I thought for sure this was going to be a win for the Browns. It was a winnable game. It was doable. It was Buffalo, who hadn't won in like 8 straight road games by less than a margin of 18 points, for God's sakes. What about Shermer?
Well, everybody's an intern at the Cleveland Browns that wears Brandon Orange on Sunday. And if something doesn't happen, if what he's doing isn't seen, how can you keep him? If they don't win a game or two, if the young players don't get better, then somebody's not doing their job. And the boss man up top, who will be in a couple of weeks, is going to see that, and he's seen it now. I understand he likes to sit in the back of meetings and listen to this. We had a chance to meet him, I think it was last Saturday night, the first home game. You had Webster was in town, myself, Bernie, and Michael Dean Purdy. A lot of guys in town this week, and he seems like an owner I would love to play for. You know, I like his personality, I like his energy about winning. Now, usually when someone does that, they've got some ideas of what they want and the people they want under them to make this ship float. So I don't know what's going to happen to everybody. I'm concerned because everything's got to start over. But if you're going to get somebody new now is the time with all these young players.
I've said numerous times over the years, unfortunately, in this rebuilding state, because it seems in Cleveland, not just with the Browns, but in all the sports, a new 5-year plan every 2 or 3 years.
Right.
But I've said I can tolerate a loss as long we're in a rebuilding state. I can tolerate a loss as long as I see progression. Right. Last week against Cincinnati was a perfect example.
Absolutely.
But then they regressed to this performance.
Right. I don't know. I mean, I looked at the Buffalo team. They got that big lineman down making sacks. You've got the C.J. Spiller making our guys look like kids.
And he goes down, and the third stringer gains 91 yards.
I hate to say good for. I'm glad C.J. went down. You don't want to see a guy get hurt. But I'm figuring, okay, now we got a shot. Here comes another guy, the choice that played at Dallas and does the same thing to us. You notice most of the teams that play well in the Monday night, Sunday night, Thursday night, they've got 3 or 4 or 5 horses on offense, 3 or 4 or 5 on defense that you can count on. We can count on DeQuell Jackson. We can count on Joe Hayden. We can count on a couple of the linemen. On offense, maybe Joe, maybe Mac, but we don't have any of the skilled people. Ben Watson, where's he been? We got the young tight end, maybe catches a few balls. Massaquoi starts to pop out. If you do not have horses, 3, 4, 5, to match up with the other teams in the league, it's going to happen the way it's been happening.
And that's another thing. If you look, you're right on target with that. If you look at our depth chart, you can't win a Super Bowl. You can't even make the playoffs, I don't think, but certainly contend for a Super Bowl unless you've got a depth chart and a deep depth chart. Everybody's going to have injuries in the NFL, Reggie.
And the thing with us, which is going to be crazy, is as the year goes on, it's going to get tougher. And if some of these young guys don't pick it up, when these starters get injuries, you're going to be way down to the third guy. And if he's the third guy on a team that's 0-3 already,
yeah,
you know what I'm saying.
Your early thoughts on Whedon. Now, Whedon came out following the game yesterday and thought he actually played pretty well. I don't think he, obviously he was better than he was in week 1, but his quarterback rating was only like 65 or whatever it was. Was he ill-advised to say that? I mean, considering such a horrible loss.
Well, you sometimes say, well, he's a young guy, but because he's a rookie, but he's a veteran guy who's been in another league, so he's supposed to be a veteran. He played against 19, 20-year-old kids. He's playing against men now. And those 5, 7 guys up front are completely different than the 21-year-old kid at Oklahoma State. These are horses that have been trained to destroy quarterbacks. And the first game, I thought he was I don't want to say skittish, because then it takes soft in the pocket. And then the second game, he stepped up, took some shots, threw Massaquoi nice slants. Bernie says he's great throwing the ball 18, 20 yards and seeing routes and slants. I trust in Bernie Kosar. And then yesterday, he went right back and resorted back to what we saw the first week. I don't feel like he feels comfortable with the receivers nor the offensive line. I think he's unsure, and I'm so tired of seeing our offense take the field opening drives. 1, 2, 3 and out, 1, 2, 3. 3 times they do that.
Yeah.
You need to know the 10 plays that you can run best against the defense that's coming into your city that week, and you need to take the ball and move it down the field. Worst scenario, field goal, but make first down.
Are you? Do you think a West Coast offense can work with a spread shotgun type style quarterback like Whedon and Colt McCoy, for that matter?
Well, you got to run the football in any type of offense. West Coast, East Coast, I don't care where you're playing football. You run the ball, it creates everything else. Lenny Infante was a guy that wanted to throw the ball on first down to dink and dunk. In other words, called pitch and catch. 5-yard outs, 5-yard hitch routes. On that, second and 4, second and 3 gives you opportunity to do what you want on offense. So, everyone says it's the West Coast offense. It's the same mentality. Let's move the change. And I think Whedon has the ability to throw the ball, But you got to be solid up front, and you got to run the ball. Richardson can't have 31 yards. He can't have 13 touches. And when he run the ball 14 rushes, why is a guy who's a rookie in his third game throwing the ball 47 times, down by 10, and only score 14 points?
Yeah.
Something doesn't make sense to me. Or the throws they're making that don't make sense. It's watching the game, hoping they make first downs. That's bad.
Yeah.
I mean, you're supposed to be hoping they score touchdowns, not hoping they get first down.
And that brings me back to the offensive line now. We thought Pinkston, but I think the book is still out on Pinkston. It's certainly Laval from game to game. Laval is really a question mark. The kid Schwartz, I'll cut him some slack because he's a rookie.
He held his own
he's
against a Pro Bowl.
Thomas and Mack, but I mean, when you look, we took for granted that our offensive line was finally fixed, even as young as it is. No, I'm not so sure.
I'm going to agree with you. We don't get a running back that can rush for 100 yards and a quarterback that can stay upright and not be sacked 4 or 5 times or hit or be afraid of it. We're going to be in trouble. I mean, that's sad to say. I mean, the city deserves more. You go in there yesterday after the game, you see all the Buffalo fans and cheering like they won the Super Bowl. I mean, and to pay money to go down there to see what's going on. I'm not trying to detour anybody from going down there. Support your team. But somebody's got to give us some love with a win or a possible win, not what we saw yesterday.
You know, when you think back to Reggie's era, in the 80s under Marty with Bernie and Webster and Brennan and Mack and Biner and a very solid defense with Clay Matthews and company, and to see this franchise come, even though we understand it's an expansion, but still, Gene laid a stat on me yesterday. Houston came into the league in 2002.
Surpassed it.
They have 69 wins, and the Browns have 68 since 99.
Right. Right.
And Houston stunk those first few years.
Somebody in their scouting department are making the right decisions on their players. Got to dig deeper to the problem.
Do you think that Haslam, because it's hard to not believe the Browns are going to be 0-5 now, and then we come home to Cincinnati, and after that is when he should get the keys. Do you think he'll right away chop heads, or do you think he'll wait till the end of the season? I don't know how to call that. Do you have any guess on that?
Well, you get rid of Sherman. What do? You let Childress coach?
Right. Or Jerron.
Oh, Jerron. Okay, they both had head coaching experience. It depends on which one he believes in or which one has a better career record. I mean, which one is a better
That's not going to improve the talent on the field.
Absolutely not. You can give a guy the same route and the same system, doesn't mean he's going to do any better. There's too many variables that take place on a football team, and you win inside out. We're not winning at the point of attack at the offensive line, and we're not making things happen on the outside. So our quarterback got to get his head straight, and we can't make mistakes. We're not good enough to make mistakes. No penalties, no turnovers. And it's going to be a rough one. I don't know what to do. I mean, I wish I had the power. I wish I was in the meeting with him, but that's something I'm sure he's already thought about.
I just got done about a month ago coming to the realization that the Indians, with the Indians, I'm saying, I don't know what I'd do. Now we're 3 games into the NFL season and we're in the Browns. I'm saying, I don't know what I'd do.
Yeah, I was saying, the season's going to go by fast. Next week will be, after Thursday, we're a quarter way done.
Yeah.
We're a quarter way done. Yeah. All the energy, all the excitement that we feel, all the press and all the energy, it's so disappointing. And I'm not talking about just for me. I'm talking about the guy that works every day. The guys we're working with that look forward to going to the game, taking their kids, want to get them a shirt and jersey, and then they take them home in the night and go, Dad, I don't think I like the Brown. I want to cheer for somebody else just so I can cheer.
Yeah.
Just so I can cheer.
Yeah.
I'm tired of not cheering for my own team.
How does a parent raise their child to be a Browns fan and purely enthusiastic? You can't do it.
Bring out the Betamax from 1980s. I still have 2 Betamaxes.
Hey, don't fret. We've got 1.5 days to prepare for Baltimore on Thursday night.
Wow.
We'll be ready. Reggie Langhorne, my man. And we look forward to having you again next week.
See you next Monday.
It's so good to have you featured on the show. Reggie will be here every Monday on All Bets Are Off.